We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go
I like
down.
the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Song like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I was stupid to be not on it.
Watch me flex. Before you take your first sip of coffee, you got to learn that no, it's not a rejection of the world. It is a violent, necessary act of love for yourself. Lately, my air has been thick with people trying it. They overstep, they do scope creep their way into my peace, trying to treat my time like a buffet they didn't pay for. But there's the one thing about building an empire. You don't do it being nice, you do it being clear. This week was a masterclass of victory of the no, whether it's to study a contractor with Google blocking her or holding the line on a marketing company, Social Link, out of Nashville and taking my stand on a SOW that wasn't. The result's the same, silence. And in that silence, I found my power again. If you aren't willing to protect my perimeter with the same ferocity you use to build, or let me rephrase that. I'm sorry, y'all. If I'm not willing to protect my perimeter with the same ferocity I used to build my business, I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. I would be a doormat. And I want to say right now, we don't do doormats at Dale's Angels, Inc. I'm going to continue to update my blessings list. These are not just feel-good quotes to post on a vision board. These are protocols for survival in a world that wants to drain you. You got to read them, you internalize them, or don't, but don't complain when you're exhausted. The first edition is anger is a termite for the heart. Letting go of rage makes you stronger, period. It frees up the CPU space you need to actually innovate. But let's be clear. Don't confuse my peace for weakness. I have let go of anger, but I haven't lost my aim. If you play me, I will throat punch you, metaphorically, legally, and professionally. I do choose peace, but I carry a sword you better recognize. Why be reflective if you don't change? I see people journaling and reflecting for years without moving an inch. That is a waste of ink and a waste of life. If your reflection doesn't lead to a pivot, you aren't being mindful. You're being self-indulgent. Be about that life, change the variable, or stop complaining about the result. Change can suck, but you still got to adjust and just do it. Transition is messy, it's uncomfortable, it's supposed to be. You don't get a new version of life while holding on to the handles of the old one. Adjust your grip and keep moving. Hope is everything. It's the only thing. Think that's from Charles Ingalls on the 2.0 version of Little House in the Big Woods, but with better Wi-Fi and tactical gear. Hope isn't a wish, it's an anchor. It's the belief that the ridge is worth the climb. It's why we drink fresh roasted coffee even when the world feels stale. We keep the fire burning because the alternative is darkness. And I'm not built for the dark. Let go of what doesn't serve you. If it doesn't add to the empire, it's overhead, cut it. This applies to business contract, bad habits, people who only call when they need a withdrawal from your soul's bank account. Walking in my own light unapologetically. I stopped asking for permission to shine a long time ago. If my light is too bright for you, find some stunner shades or leave the room. I'm not dimming down to make your insecurity feel more comfortable. The envy protocol. Battling envy and jealousy is an absolute energy drain. If you are the source of envy, get yourself to therapy and figure out why you feel lacking. If someone else is the source, leave them on red and send them to voicemail. And/or, child, boundaries are the only cure for other people's projections. Self-love as safety. I don't hate myself enough to continue to put myself in harm's way. It's that simple. If a situation, a person, or a deal feels unsafe for my psyche, I'm out. Protecting my psychological safety isn't soft. It's the ultimate flex. When the noise gets too loud, I return to the ritual. Staying grounded, meditating, good coffee that I sell. The goal is to stay undisturbed. You can't lead if you are constantly reacting to the whims of people who haven't done the work. I build my walls high, I keep my coffee hot, and I might make sure my no is the loudest thing in the room. And that's the word right there. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what the Lord has done. Amen, amen on this wonderful, mild Sunday morning, feeling very inspired to do the work of knowledge. Starting the day in a meditation and being present in the now and instead of in the what if, it is challenging. And I also believe that prayer and meditation centers you, and you don't have to share those blessings with people. I'm going to share mine with you because I don't have to read the comments, but if you're going to hate on me, go ahead and hate. Interactions count as interactions, and the algorithm favors me. And please hate me into a whole different tax bracket. But I firmly believe if you can't be happy for yourself, what is going to happen when other people don't appear to be happy for you? That's their problem. It's not a you problem. Definitely ain't a you problem. And you can stay over there with your hateration unless you're interacting with a blog post or something on socials. But I digress. I've actually started this episode with a cleansing of the evil eye. I'm going to continue to add on to my blessings list because there are so many things that I feel blessed for. That little song is going to encourage me. I'm probably going to get back on the ones and two and expand that into another anthem in my new era and new chapter of thankfulness. I started this journey because I had to almost felt that I lost everything to learn how to live again. I thought the death of Ethel would break me, only to discover I was already a little broken. And the effort it takes to put myself back together is kind of ghetto, y'all. But I am doing it piece by piece, actually enjoying finding the pieces that truly were broken, matching them back. Yes, I got ADD and I squirrel every now and again, but I'm still doing it. And the journey of putting yourself back together again is also worth leaning into and confirming, because when you can self-regulate, that is actually something worth continuing to explore. Because again, you can't depend on a little dog, or you can't depend on other people to help keep you together, to keep you whole, because that puts unnecessary burden on them. You can share and they don't have to reciprocate because they may be not there themselves. And that actually has to be okay. Not everybody can be everything to you at all times. Again, that is okay. That they're not okay, that you're not okay, but everybody's working on being okay. I've also learned that I'm not going to accept half-ass bullshit. Why? Because that's really not the rules of the road. If I engage you to perform some service for me or vice versa, I'm going to, on my part, I'm going to be in it for 100%. I'm very literal and concrete to a certain extent, but I'm going to make sure I hit every point on why you engaged me. But what I'm not going to accept is I engage you for a service and then you come back at me with not even a quarter of what you promised. It's not acceptable, and you may need to reread your own master service agreement and SOWs, because I'm only expecting in the time frame that you actually originally promised. And that's it. It's not being difficult. It's actually just holding you to the rules of the road. And even though I worked over a weekend to make sure I understood what you said, once the deadline is up, I don't have to respond to you. I can take my time because time's up, bitch. I don't have to engage with you unless we're talking about refunds or truly performing the work that you want, that I actually originally asked for. But don't actually mistake my silence for acquiescence, because while you were twiddling your thumbs and coming up with half-assed excuses and trying to gaslight a sister, what I've been working on in the background is increasing by using the tools I already had that I didn't know how to use before. I'm actually using those tools to actually get to perform the service that I thought you were going to perform. Now I'm doing it within a very short period of time on my own. And it's pretty much locked down, but I still got to keep my head on swivel for fraud. And there are about 3 things that I'm still not going to do. We're not going back and forth. I'm not going back and forth with anybody. I'm not going out of my way, and I'm not going above and beyond. I'm actually just working on a steady state right now, because when I'm steady state and regulated, very peaceful, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, and I can create so much more because I can receive so much and to become inspired just by the little things. Like hymns that I learned when I was a kid, and then in a teenager year, came back to when I was in medical school, and then came back to again in residency, basically reaffirming my own walk, not knowing that what I was going through then was going to actually help me now and in a different chapter of my life. In this life, I'm entering in a life of intentional seeking of calm and peace, rooted, unbothered, and really undisturbed. And anything that's going to try to foil that, you got to go. But at the same time, and this is also a walk that I think a lot of people actually have to do, I can feel a breakthrough coming, but I still feel like a fraud. Get weepy when I actually was performing some of the tasks over this weekend, because when things start to work out, either I start to feel a little bit uneasy because I think something's going to happen and it's not going to work out, but I'm also afraid that it really will. And how crazy is that? How can you be, you start to have a little bit of success, and then you all of a sudden you're like, well, damn, what if it is actually working out because I said what I said? And then I feel like a fraud because it's working out. And then I feel kind of bad because I'm scared that it actually is going to work out. So that having some type of balance, and also a very patient therapist on lock. Mad shout out to Megumi Britt with BetterHelp, because I need to find a regulation in the middle ground that, why am I feeling like a fraud and then I'm afraid of the success because I feel like a fraud? That don't make no sense. And how I'm going to break that loop? I just need the tools to be able to break the loop. And I'm actually very grateful that I'm actually seeking the tools to break that kind of crazy loop. And I'm glad that y'all listening. And my hope is that my walk through these issues will actually be of assistance to you as you walk that walk. And thank you for listening.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. Online, on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
There is a kind of weird kind of quiet that settles over the ridge on a Sunday morning. And there's a stillness that doesn't ask for permission, but simply wraps around you like a well-worn shawl. By the time it arrives, that Sunday that is, Saturday's hustle, the relentless editing, which I'm going to still have to do, but I've gotten a kind of a jump on for the first time, has already left its imprint. This weekend podcast production is no small feat. I got to translate, I got to take raw human emotion and shape it into episodes that resonate with the soul of the Valley community, which I'm hoping to become a part of the whole Afro Druids collective. But once the final audio export is saved and the files are securely backed up, the weekend pivots from an output to an intake, from creation to restoration. And it's this restoration is, for anyone on an intentional wellness journey knows, is rarely a straight line of lotus poses and silent contemplation. Sometimes it involves dusting off equipment that has lived in the corner for years, aka my Pilates HSN purchase and a whole robo treadmill that I've looked at, moved a little bit to dust the hairballs around it, but not much else. Sunday isn't about sitting still until you levitate. It's about moving the stagnant energy out of your bones. This weekend began with a thorough excavation of a home gym and a trusty Pilates reformer. And there is something profoundly satisfying about old school equipment that has stood the test of time, much like the timeless principle of core strength and alignment. From the sliding back and forth on that carriage, which I did a little bit, and I find that building strength as far as flexibility is key to continue to be able to walk around just my house with no pain. And also, instead of wanting to tell my nurse practitioner or PA physical therapist to kick rocks, I actually can kick rocks and walk the 2 blocks without pain. But to be honest, wellness also requires room for righteous exasperation. Let's say that the virtual or local workout space had its moments this week. And if you happen to catch the tail end of my trail midsection while I vocally and colorfully cussed out the new Zumba instructor's choreography choices, well, that's just part of the therapeutic release. Perfection is a myth. Authentic living means acknowledging when the grapevine step feels entirely unnatural and letting the frustration fly before returning to your breath. Movement paves the way for true meditation when the body has been stretched, challenged, and even mildly antagonized by overly ambitious fitness instructors. The mind finally agrees to quiet down, sitting cross-legged on the porch as the morning mist burns off the valley below, or even now that I'm back in my home in the North Shore, the storm blows in as quickly as it blows out. You breathe the clean air, you let go of the week's administrative chaos, and remember why we do any of this in the first place. You still perform or drink in the nourishment is your art form. You don't take any journey from that away from the anti-inflammatory journey that I'm still on. I start out with the meditation, prolonging it, counting my blessings. I continue to have my heated, warmed lemon water, followed by the rosemary, ginger, lemon balm, basil mix, sweetened with honey, because that system is what is going to increase my clarity for memory, circulation, soothing, grounding, and allowing me to continue to enjoy this next chapter that I'm entering into. As the sun climbs higher and the podcast editing queue calls for a surge of vibrant energy, it's time for a signature exhilarating green drink, which I did skip today in favor of my fried eggs over easy and ham steak with toast with strawberry jelly because it's Sunday and I deserve it. But I digress. But I will go back to my hydrating celery, cucumber, lemon balm with the rosemary and a kick of ginger, sweetened actually with apple juice to take off that edge. Pineapple juice is okay. The papain has its own health benefits, but I'm going to see how apple's actually going to wake this up, because that is how my palate will be awakening with brightness that tells every cell in my body to wake up and thrive. When we talk about Solar Valley, we aren't just talking about scenic vistas or glamping domes in Trenton, Georgia. Wish I had caught that before that was published. But we are talking about an unbroken chain of memory, resilience, and connection. Grounding on Sunday means planting your bare feet into the earth and remembering those who walked before you, the foremothers and fathers who carved out sanctuaries of peace in a world that they rarely offered them rest. I'm talking about lineage not just being about DNA, it's about being about traditions we choose to carry forward. It's the way our grandmothers poured teas with medicinal intent. It's the way storytellers like Hemingway and B.B. Moore and Terry McMillan capture the raw, unfiltered essence of human struggle and triumph. When we sit on the ridge editing stories, sipping herbal infusions, and practicing gratitude for the breath in our lungs, we are actively participating in that lineage. Gratitude on the ridge is specific, it's not vague, generalized thinking. Thankfulness for everything. It's gratitude for the OHSN Pilates machine that still works like a charm. It's gratitude for a podcast community that listens with an open heart. Thank you. It's gratitude for the quiet corners of a weekend where we can cuss out a Zumba routine, laugh at ourselves, and then find our center again. As Sunday evening approaches and the shadows lengthen across the valley, the energy shifts from outward movement to inward storage. The podcast is edited or will be edited. The glasses wash, the herbal tea warm, and the mind is clear. I'm not leaving the ridge to walk back into my weekday life. I carry all of those essence and positivity with me. I carry the memory of the morning mist, the steady cadence of the treadmill, the grounding strength of the breath, and the fierce, compassionate reminder that rest is not a luxury, it is our birthright. I raise my coffee mug to slowing down, honoring our lineages, and making space for every messy, beautiful part of the human journey. Rooted, undisturbed, and I'm grounded. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Ways to know and ways to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a tenfold rainbow. A tenfold rainbow. A tenfold rainbow. Terry McMillan gives Circling the Block a whole different dynamic, and I almost forgot about you. Her New York best-selling author writes an amazing book about kind of a woman, Dr. Georgie Young, going through a midlife crisis at 54. And as a 54-year-old woman walking into my own next chapter, I have a boring kind of day job, but I can do it standing on my head if I wasn't so big back. But I am looking or reading this book and I'm coming up with so many truths, and it's taken me a minute to get through it because I've started and stopped all this summer. And it is a part of the Soul of the Valley retreat because this is about a woman that, again, is looking after the death of a man that she probably seems like she may have almost married. She finds his daughter that she didn't have, but she ends up in her chair and then finds out the dude died. So she has decided to go back, and the great loves that she thought were of her life, she decides to go back, look each one of them up, see what they were doing, how they're doing, and just to tell them just how much they meant to her and to make sure to get some type of closure. And again, I have said this for the last couple of episodes. I thought it was kind of selfish to come and bum rush people's life and drop in so you can get closure. But what I'm seeing is that her journey is not only necessary for her, it's actually necessary for the men that she has looked up and they have gotten and sought some type of closure. She did it with her two her husbands, either tit for tat, because she had one child by each of them, and they're still going to be in each other's life because they're still going to have the connection of their children. But now in page 202, in the previous, she basically got or tried to reconnect with someone that he owns a very successful restaurant and was running marathons around the world. And she met his significant other, and they have actually, the wife was so like, who are you? Why are you leaving messages for my husband or boyfriend? And she returned that right back to her. So you ain't gonna get no closure over there. They met each other and she didn't like the energy. I guess the girlfriend did. And she said, nah, girl, stop it. But then the fourth one is her ex-boyfriend Abraham, which we met him when she was reminiscing when they were younger. He was a pothead, had dropped out of college, had told some white lies, and then they ended up breaking. And she actually, I think this was one of the abortions that she spoke about, because there was no way at 19 that she was going to have this kind of a loser at the times baby. So they broke up. He evidently wasn't on Facebook for a while, but after their breakup, he seemed to have gotten his shit together. Went back to school, graduated as a horticulturalist, has a 500-acre farm, and is the Black Moses of the Black farmers of the United States. He has children. He is in a new relationship. He has been married and divorced and is in a new relationship. And he basically kind of solidified why they actually got together. He is just the more mature of the free-spirited pothead that he was when he was younger. Abraham, they broke up because he was broken. This relapse, I don't like to do relapse and talking about spinning the block, but he gives it a whole different dynamic, as I said, because she had to meet one of her relapse so he could confirm that she should not give up, and she's going to finally meet who she's supposed to be with. And for a time, she's going to be alone, but at least she's not bitter, not giving up, and still seeking to, one, improve herself and remove those things that no longer work for her, whether it be a house, whether it be a boring career that doesn't allow her to grow. And he basically tells her why this relationship at their big age is so much different from when you were younger. Because at this age, you just know yourself in the now. You know how to be present now. And you also have to be equally yoked. He basically says most women are amazing. They just need someone who makes it easy for them to express it. And I thought I was trying to deal with all the symbolism, because it dawned on me that his name is Abraham, which is the father of an entire race and nation. And he basically is the messenger of kind of confirming what she actually knew. And because he actually has the conscience, they were supposed to spend 24 hours together trying to really relive the events of their teenage years. But because he was in a committed relationship, he knew he couldn't do that to his fiancée, Maya, and the guilt that would come from Georgia experiencing that, even though she told him he was the first man to allow her to experience multiple orgasms, and they both laughed about it, and she knew she could have gotten there, and it's hard for someone to initiate that, but he had both of them actually had more to lose than just getting their backs blown out. But their interaction, he also was the messenger that you don't want to wait to tell people how much they meant to you, how much you love them, and how much they make you feel good and smart and pretty. You is fine, you is smart, and you is kind. And even outside of the help, which I'm probably going to end up reading again because it was actually a good book. This and a lesson of relapse and the messenger of why it's not all bad and how it can actually be good, but always trying to seek closure if it is also possible. And then when you didn't and you do the work and you come back as a better version of yourself, that's always going to be good. And I'm finding these little tidbits of lessons is why I'm still going to continue to explore them as I read. I almost forgot about you, not just somebody outside of you, but also yourself. Because Terry McMillan does drop the knowledge, and I hope I'm going to continue to enjoy this book as much as I have in the previous reading her book and other books. This is amazing. Finding yourself even at this big age and having the courage to continue to seek self-assurance and peace. This book is a great match to the chapter that I'm trying to walk in myself and share with other people. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? When I started doing this, I used to listen to the podcast Scam Goddess, and no shade to her. I think she continues to grow. I haven't listened to her in a while, but that is one of the reasons why I got my concealed license to carry, also because I'm violent, but also I took the test and became a PI. I intended to do fraud investigations, and hopefully I'll be able to take that back up. However, I have now found that I thought the age of the largest Ponzi schemes were over with the jailing and the death of the Bernie Madoffs, but in reality, people are out here scamming. We got a whole summer hit from Young Miami. Oh, where am I scamming ass ninjas at? Where they at? Spin that shit. Spin that shit. I got scammed, but I got my money back though. So ain't nobody won't able to spin that shit. But they ran it up to 7K. I'll still be kind of miffed about that. But I'm intentionally, in my journey, intentionally seeking peace and calm. But there is an intention, and that means you can't be peace or at peace, and it just is. You got to work for that ish. You don't stumble on it by accident or hope it will endure simply because your intentions are poor. Because true peace is the kind that allows you to build, create, and live without a constant low-grade panic. You absolutely have to intentionally and uncompromisingly defend it. As far as security and intelligent and high-level strategy, we always talk about perimeters. And a perimeter is just not a physical fence or a firewall on a server. It's a boundary where your reality meets the untamed noise of the outside world. And in this section of one of my most favorite sections of my podcast, I'm going to just evaluate the latest in the scam world and how sophisticated fraud operates at the highest levels. And while you have to seal your perimeter, that is non-negotiable. If you value your assets, your sanity, and your own peace, you're going to seal it up before they spend that on you. And this is article that I read in Fortune about Mr. Jason Cloth. This dude actually was a legit executive producer on hits like The Joker. According to federal prosecutors, Cloth operated a Beverly Hills-based financing vehicle, soliciting over $100 million from investors, including major institutional advisor and private clients, under the guise of funding marquee film projects and gaming entertainment platforms. So he was running a Ponzi, not really a bait and switch, but a high-level Ponzi that he probably could have wrote a movie script about, but I digress. This is how he actually did it. The veneer, using associations with billion-dollar people, because he had the cred, produced Joker, Babylon, House of Gucci. So that gave him instant, unquestioned credibility. But he was diverting investor cash from the promised entertainment ventures and into unrelated holdings, such as a private real estate developments. He operated, as I said, a Ponzi model, using incoming capital from fresh investors to pay off earlier participants, maintaining the illusion of robust performance while lulling victims into complacency. People were getting little trickles and trickles and trickles of cash, but then when the cash stopped, he stopped running them their checks. People started getting a little squirmy. And then there was no new fresh meat because he had bilked everybody. So they were like, nah, son, you ain't getting another dime until we figure out where my next check is going to come from. How do wealthy investors, seasoned wealthy investors, fall for scams in the 9 figures? Because they evaluate the badge and not the boundary. They see studio credits, glossy executive titles, high society networks, and they assume that this is safe. And they mistake proximity to fame for financial integrity. Well, guess what, bitch? Nah. In business, partnerships, and high-end lifestyle investments, scams rarely look like villains in alleyways. They look like charming insiders. They wear tailored suits, boast impressive resumes, and drop names that make you feel like you're stepping into an exclusive club. But if you want to protect your enterprise and capital, you have to adopt an analytical, forensic mindset. Here is how you can audit that. And this is on some real shit. You separate the creative credibility from financial controls. A brilliant Hollywood producer, a visionary entrepreneur, or a charismatic consultant does not automatically possess fiduciary transparency. Never let artistic or commercial success blind you to missing financial transparency. If bank statements, audits, and independent verifications are met with defensiveness or appeals to prestige, just walk away, son. Treat every introduction as an untrusted connection. In intelligent operations, zero trust is the baseline in private wealth management. It should be no different. A referral from a trusted colleague opens the door, but it does not grant clearance. Every vendor, partner, and investment vehicle must pass your own rigorous scrutiny. Inspect the machinery, not the marketing. Scammers sell feelings, operators inspect mechanics. Demand to see the underlying asset trails, legal structures, and ledger entries. If the explanation relies on complexity designed to confuse rather than clarify, the complexity is the scam. I always hearken this back because I call myself and my team Section 31, because it represents the clandestine intelligent arm operating in the shadows to protect the Federation from existential threats that conventional diplomas cannot touch. It is uncompromised, uncompromising and analytical and hypervigilant. When you adopt the Section 31 mindset in your daily operation, it means accepting a fundamental truth. Not everyone is asking for entry has your best entry at heart. When you maintain an absolute defense, you stop apologizing for vetting people. Due diligence isn't cynicism, it's self-respect. You cut ties with sketchy vendors and volatile partners instantly. Hesitation is the window through which exploitation occurs. You safeguard your energy. Protecting your perimeter isn't just about money, it's about preserving your mental clarity so you can focus on what actually matters, i.e., not checking business emails on a Sunday after you're coming off of a very happy and productive weekend. I can't get sidetracked by nonsense and noise from the outside. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of an impenetrable perimeter. When your defenses are dialed in, you don't have to spend your nights wondering who is siphoning your resources or testing your vulnerabilities. Your house is sealed, your operations are clean, and your peace has room to breathe, create, and thrive. Protect your space, y'all. Audit your partners and keep your standards mercilessly high. Stay rooted, stay grounded, stay undisturbed.
Let's calibrate the frequency on this one. The swamp is crowded, full of underfed, frozen-faced predators, snapping at marbles, desperate to be the chosen editors. They call it a lifestyle, but the game is just a rigged simulation. A no-win test designed to force a toxic confrontation. But the operator arrived with a full-blown session. No damsel in this room, no victim waiting for a cape. Just a mogul in the shadows, measuring the shape.
I always trip out with the current state of reality TV, and I am going to comment on the Bell Collective's reunion looks, a couple of points that they made that may actually lead to reconciliation and why certain people were invited to the picnic from jump before I get into a deeper discussion off of my confusion with Heart and Hustle Houston. But what I am not going to be able to do is even comment on any of the Real Housewives of OC because it was so boring that I forgot I had actually watched it. I'm just going to have to start listening to the recap with Carlos King and Bubba Lip, Alexis Bellino. I don't even know her married name, but it was so boring and just so stupid. I couldn't understand it. So, but that's all I'm going to say on the OC girls. Y'all going to have to figure out a way for Tamara to get over her PTSD from last season and get her activated because what I'm seeing now is garbage. But that is just my opinion. I'm not saying anybody on the show is fake, underfed, and garbage. I'm just saying that they all look like a bunch of fake, underfed, boring white women from the OC. So I don't need to watch and waste my time to watch that. However, Bell Collective 2026 reunion lurks is probably more in alignment with walking the red carpet to a Hollywood event. And I'm here for it. It's looked like they released the coin for styling and for hair and for makeup. And these women are already gorgeous in their own right. The color selection is wonderful. Some women are styled to perfection, but you can actually tell the confidence that they all have in their own personalized looks. None of these look like they're off the rack. It looked like whoever styled them picked these styles for them. And I'm going to start with one of the looks for Letitia Pearson. Her outfit is gold, and it looks like it has a rose gold underpinning, and with the whole shoulder drip. I'm not sure about the little wing on her left shoulder, but I'm with all the Swarovski crystals and the jewel detailing around the neckline. I like the concept because her dress actually looks like a work of art, and she looks like the goddess that she is in it. What I also am tripped out about is her face. Her beat is, she's a beautiful woman, but her face looks amazing. She's blended. Her brows are perfect. Her lips are perfectly lined. 10s across the board for that. And I'm actually on her Instagram page. All of these looks, and her hair is so pretty. Wow. Just wow. Letitia looks good, y'all. Now I'm looking at Tambra. Tambra, she looks all right. I'm not so, yeah, I like this too. I like this color on her. And she just looks, her smile is what makes this outfit. Her hair, her face, and the confidence radiating through this. The dress is a hodgepodge of a lot of sequins, but okay. I gotta say, okay, whatever. What I am going to probably end up doing is creating kind of like a banner with all the different looks and which image is like a standout. And that's what I'm actually going to post in my podcast notes, because I guess you got to see it in order to basically know exactly what I'm talking about. And again, it's cool. Again, these women, you could just tell of the confidence. So I got to basically capture this image for Letitia. And then I'm going to include, I think, one of her best looks, because it not only showcases the dress, it also just showcases her face, her beat, her hair, and just the absolute confidence. Is it Letitia Scott? No, that's actually on Birmingham. This is Bell Collective. So Letitia. And I hope I got their names correct, because it's Letitia, it's Tambra. I'm gonna have to save her for last because she gets on my nerves. That's Carrie Paul. I think that's that lady's name. And I'm kind of over her. She's a bit much in her dress, off screen, on screen. So I'm good. Who I want to absolutely capture is, what's her name? Dr. Marie Monroe, because Marie Monroe, she is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I saw her reunion looks before I saw the other women. And I thought the dress was nothing less than what you can expect from Dr. Marie. Bring it. She is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman of a certain age. You can't tell Miss Marie nothing. I think I'm actually going to use this one. How can I get just the images? I need to go, maybe if I go to her, directly to her page, she'll actually have it. And I need to follow her too. I don't know why I didn't follow Miss Marie. Is this real? No? Nope, nope, nope. That actually is still the, ooh, that's one I like. Right there, right there, right there, right there. It's dope. I wish I could find a way to embed this or remix it, because this image, the images of her posing, I don't think it would actually do it justice. And I don't see any stills of her, any other stills of her reunion look. I only see the video, but I'll figure out how to capture it. Yes, the detail of the big bow that wraps around and attached to her wrist, and the crystal embellishments on around her neckline, on her sheer arms, and covering up her breasts. She looks also like either she went to the gym or she got 360, don't care what it is. She looks wonderful. You cannot take away from Miss Dr. Marie Monroe that she is feeling herself, and I am here for it. So keep it pushing and give her flowers because she is absolutely stunning. I'm going to actually capture this one picture, but I don't think it does her justice. I honestly think that you got to navigate to her webpage and get the full effect of the different angles. Her face is always stunning and she's beautiful. Her faux hawk with her signature finger waves is on point. And again, her look is devastating. And she was working the hell out of these girls in this reunion. And again, I'm loving it. What about Letitia and her old mean husband? She really was in her goddess lens. Is it Letitia? Latrice. There is Latrice. Ooh, ooh, this is so pretty. There she is. Ooh, and oh, what's this lady's name? She's Folks now. I'll come back to her. But this is Latrice. OMG. She looks like Portia. I might actually just probably embed No Chaser TV's post. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to embed No Chaser TV's post in my podcast notes that you can actually take a look at all of these outfits, because this goddess blend with the side cut out and her 24-inch bust down, girl, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think this is one of the outside influencers who just thirsty that wants to be on the show, but she does not own, she's not a Belle. She need to go sit down somewhere. It's not Amanda. Shantae. Yeah, whatever. And this the other one, Amanda. Again, whatever. Outside noise. Carrie. Oh, I went all past Carrie. Forgot about her. Oh, what is this girl's name? She literally just got married. I do like the embellished details. She was actually, what is this lady's name? That's so sad. Let's see. Carrie Paul annoys me. So I'm really not going to comment on anything. I think it wasn't as if her dress, it's like some sheer detailing with, again, a lot of crystal incrustation, but it's okay. I like the other OG's dresses a lot better. I don't know. She's always just seems like she's in some mess. And it is obvious that her mother-in-law has been talking crazy to her for a while. But whatever misplaced anger she has, she needs, again, to keep it to herself. And again, talking us to death. And she just be doing too much. And we get it. It's just like Pinky Cole on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She is, I think the more real thing that we have is the mother-in-law talking crazy to her. We know her businesses are having issues, but is that all she is? Basically promoting and being all about her business. What about the rest of her life? Because everything else is coming up. That is coming off as performative, and she's wearing us out about it. No doubt that she has a multi-million-dollar businesses, and one part of it is struggling, but she has to have a lot more. What is her support structure like to get through with this? Why does she want everybody to fall apart around her instead of just supporting her psychologically without being on the bandwagon of being on 20? Because that's not healthy for the group. And she's going to get on Dr. Marie Monroe's nerves one too often, and she's gonna get cussed out. And I'm here again for it. I'm sitting here tripping out that I forgot to add Carlos King, the peacock of the entire reunion. I found out that no one has been accredited with his reunion look. We do know from last week's Monday Night Live, him going completely bald, piercing both of his ears, getting his beard tailored a little bit more and going from the salt and pepper look to black. He actually looks younger, and now he's full vegan. He actually looks good. I don't begrudge him any of that. But the suit itself harkens back to something that Liberace or Elvis Presley, but more tailored to his slender frame. His nails are manicured. He got on nice jewelry, and the gold embellishment on this silk suit is a work of art. I have no, and the silk tie, the perfectly pressed shirt. Oh, this is another 10 out of 10. So the executive producer, host of the reunion, looks just as good as the talent. I'm not here. I'm not mad at it. Also, I couldn't remember her name. She's Selena Now Folks. She is the ex-wife of the stupid dude with the bald ponytail and the buck teeth with the gap, who I can't stand, and I'm glad he and So Gucci are no longer on the show because it looks like the bells are belling and they're gelling better than what anybody could have ever imagined. Yes, they have their own agendas. Yes, they are actually delusional, but what can you expect from reality stars that are finding their footing? Because now all of them are OGs. And again, I'm here for it. Okay, so now I'm watching part 1 of the reunion, and what I have come to realize is there really needs to be a part 3. I've seen other franchises on different networks, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, that get a part 3 and nothing was going on, and then they were basically just being self-produced and not giving us anything, and we're supposed to accept that. I don't get it. But I'm not an executive. I just knew that it was not entertaining for me to watch them not eat and Dorit scream about being broke, but then dropping a whole bunch of money in luxury stores that she can't afford. So, but I digress. I don't understand the beef between Letitia and Latrice. Both are faces of the show. I'm not sure if Latrice cares enough because she is absolutely a stunning woman. Her pregnancy journey now, and it does look like she may have actually had her surgery. She- I'm not sure if Letitia is suffering from the nice nasty syndrome. Black Southern women actually fall into that trope. And if she's kind of low key jealous of Latrice's life because Glendale, even with all the foolishness, I think Latrice's older husband has done some foolishness, but now he old, but at least he's established and she does have a fabulous life. I'm not sure if she discerned that from Letitia and that is why they don't like each other. However, I don't know because it doesn't make any sense. Why would if she was trying to dig and get information on Latrice, I don't think she got it because it was never exposed in the show. And maybe because she didn't want her business reputation to be hurt in the community. Because I don't see what the problem is. I think Josh wanted to be a Belle, just like that Amanda girl, Latrice's friend, and then like Shantae did, who is Letitia's friend. Outside noise. And then Shantae comes up there with some stupid video that doesn't show anything. They can squash that because it's so petty and it's so ridiculous that they didn't need to bring that lady on the show. That was a waste, and it's not going to. She thinks she may have some local following, but that's not going to make national viewers want her and clamor for her to be a part of the show. She's always going to be a friend of, and she just needs to keep it moving. And I'm looking at other beefs. Again, I think a lot of what is happening with Carrie and Marie Monroe is because they're two big personalities clashing. Both are very wildly successful women. Carrie in her restaurants, Marie in her multiple location psychiatric venues. She's just, both are stellar, and they're going to clash because they always going to try to one up each other. And they also don't broker any fools. Again, I'm here for it. And what they're beefing over is so petty that they can actually come to a conclusion and squash it, just like Marie and Latrice did. She has some beautiful skin. Her beat is beautiful. I give her that, Carrie. And also, but I think as far as audacity and just sheer inner beauty, Marie Monroe wins. What else I got? Selena's biggest accomplishment was finally throwing together her marriage to her homophobic husband. No one has ever addressed what he said about he ain't fruity. That's why he don't want to be around the strippers. Well, boy, bye. And the old stupid Glendale's like, yeah, I ain't gonna be around him too. Well, he said it was cool because he wasn't with her the first time, but now it's okay because he has to look like he's a man when he's emotionally deregulated and immature. But child. And also the little bit of beef Selena has with Carrie posting her husband in his wedding gear before she do is also stupid, and it also can be squashed because it ain't that serious. But Marie truly being triggered when she was being trolled by somebody that had come up in her family, and Carrie just keep poking and poking and poking. She just gonna need to learn how to sit herself down because Marie Monroe is gonna cuss her out, and I'm here for it. She just be doing too much. And what else is going on? Lots of outside noise. And those are the highlights. Also, we see Tambra's little daughter, London Simone, who she looked like a little doll, more so than when she came in with the pink Bentley, which I thought was cool. I don't know if it was a Bentley or Mercedes. Either one, beautiful. But she always looked like she need a nap, no more longer. She was looking at all these women under them hot lights in that old itchy dress, even though it was cute. She was looking, I need to get up out this stuff and go take a nap somewhere and maybe get some chicken fingers. And I can't blame that little girl. It was hilarious. But I don't see anything that was just so glaring that they can't talk about, even though Amanda and that Shantae girl came on for backup, and I don't see them as ever being Bells. They just add a dynamic to the cast, and as a friend, that you need somebody that is going, if y'all are willing to bring the mess for a lower rate, daily rate, fine. Do that role and keep it pushing. But you don't need a budget for your glam. And no, you're not going to be paid as a full bell holder. So stick to the seat that you were given and continue to have a seat because you ain't going to talk us to death. But the first part of the Bell Collective 2026 reunion, after the looks and looking at what they tried to the topics that they spoke of that were just so petty and small that can be reconciled by the end of the reunion, that is glaring. And I want to say they have been renewed for another season, for season 9. And if anything, it is so worth it. And I'm here to see what they're going to bring in the upcoming years, hopefully years. Which, right, folks, shading each other's hilarious. You got to watch this episode of Up and Adam. And also, Moving Mad is a dude, a black dude. I think he's Nigerian American. He actually posts, and I'm watching myself on YouTube, and it's kind of hysterical. But anyways, now moving on to what is the goings on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm going to comment on the reunion looks, and then I'm going to leave it there. I usually record and edit my podcast way before 8 o'clock on Sundays, where I think it's a season finale. I'm hoping it's a season finale this week because I'm interested in watching the reunion. I think this is going to be an explosive reunion, and I'm wondering just how explosive. But I'm going to start off with just talking about the looks. I will have the link to bravotv.com, the Daily Dish. All of these photos, honestly, don't think do these women justice. But I'm looking at Shamia. This dress, I thought it was a lot, but I'm looking at her standing up, and I'm going to actually repurpose last week's part of the episode where I said, what if Shamia just owned her BS and she walked into her own light and she stopped trying to be everybody's best friend, and she just be the bad bitch that she is? Because this dress is proving my quote on that. Why does this dress look like a combination of fans or gold records that hugs her body perfectly? She has had one child naturally, and she can cook. And I can see every cheekbone, every curve, and every curve and BBL money spent. Now I get why Jerry Mwangi is obsessed with her. She is so stunningly beautiful, and this dress is a work of art. Tens. Angela Oakley, same. How can you have a photo and look shady in the photo? This dress is so understated, and she looks like a flapper from the 20s, and I love it. 10, but she's shady as hell. Phaedra, next. Kelly, you still doing too much. Drew, you look like a black peacock. Yeah. Portia, MF, and Williams, I wouldn't expect anything less. This green construction makes you look like a beautiful Broadway left my head because she's so stunning. A beautiful Nevada showgirl girl, strut your stuff. I like it. The color's green. It matches her skin. I think Pinky Cole is the pregnant one because she looks like the pastor's wife at the convocation. K. Michelle, yeah, I think somebody else wore that better. And Cynthia Bailey, this dress from above, it is a black catsuit of Zhang Toy Couture that she modeled back in the day. You actually navigate to her Instagram where she fully models this because it's the overcape that is the showstopper work of art. Stylist Paris Shea did his thing. The hairstylist Theo Barrett. The makeup artist George Miguel. First, I thought this was her daughter. And I was like, why is in this photo. She's back to modeling. No, it's her mama. Her mama that's 56, 57 years old, looking like a beauty. Noelle. It wasn't Noelle. It was the mama, looking beautiful, walking into her shady future, next chapter. And I am here for it. So Cynthia OG, Portia MF and Williams, Angela Oakley, Shamia Morton, walk into your light. That is my take on all the reunion looks. I'm not getting into the particulars because these women are just stunning in their own rights. Some of the dresses were a hit. The ones that I mentioned, the ones I basically said next, not so much. But you could tell they felt good in it. And if they like it, cool. They wore it. They got to sit through hours of taping. I hope they took a Ozempic so they didn't need to eat too much. Whatever the end product is, I'm here for it. I didn't think I was actually going to need to record another segment of the Shamia of it all, but this part of waste of bandwidth, it's a trip, y'all. I've been very confused over the last couple of episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta because I see Shamia crying the perpetual victim. I see her play her mama's trump card, and I'm watching her basically flounder and flail. And I'm seeing the other girls pile on to Shamia, but it's like somebody has chummed the water and they all are attacking, like circling like sharks. I don't want to call them hyenas because I think sharks are beautiful and hyenas are ugly. And Shark Week is coming up, so there you go. But I'm also waiting on my charger after having a great weekend at the Glamping Collective, so I feel inspired. Well, I don't feel so inspired I was thinking about talking about Heart and Hustle Houston, but it just appears that didn't really feel all that inspired. I'm still very confused about it. Seems to be kind of performative. And I keep looking at Chloe's finger waves lifting, and I'm like saying, you need to have a beauty lesson with Marie Monroe from Bell Collective Jackson, but I digress still. I say all of that to say is, before I left the Glamping Collective this morning, I was on YouTube, and I was not only looking at my ad for an upcoming retreat and how it was doing and making some adjustments to it, but I also saw, and I don't think I've seen this, I've seen clips of reunions before, but this was really a true trailer where it was heavily produced, the glam was there, everybody breastises was out, and some of the glam looked kind of tacky. I'm sorry, but I like Pinky Cole. I think she brings a different dynamic to the show. And I hope my sister, if she ever were to listen to my podcast, and I don't think she does, every time they say, when Guy Fieri always says, this has a different dynamic, that means the food he's tasting is nasty. And he's just trying to be nice for the camera, but I digress. She looked like Big Bird in that, all of that green getup and those feathers. What really tripped me out is the fact that she said the only advice that she was given is to go ahead and pee when she needs to. And that makes me think, plus everybody always says that her and her husband are getting it in. So I think she's probably the one that is pregnant. And she probably is fertile and she's not even trying, which is wild to me. But anyways. And the first thing I thought that reunion looked really sedate. It looked like it started out like everybody was in their place, and the seating chart makes no sense to me because why does K. Michelle have the first seat and she did nothing for the entire season? I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. But what it really made me think is What if Shamia stopped being a tragic victim, perpetual tragic victim? And what if she actually just raised her hand and said, look, I just haven't been on some BS for the past 2 seasons. I've been on some BS for the last 10 years. Think about how liberating that would be for us, the audience. For a decade, her entire storyline was built on playing sidekick, thirsting for Portia's validation, and then crying foul whenever the dynamic turns on her. If she just owned her part, owned the mess, owned the clout chasing, and stopped acting like a victim of circumstances she willingly signed up for, she could finally step out of Portia's shadow, because Portia don't play easy. She hits, she's strong as hell, and she gonna punch you in the face. If you're willing to go to hell, she's willing to go below Hades. So if you ain't about that life, Shamia, take accountability. And then you can walk into your own light unfettered. You'll gain actual respect from the viewers. And most importantly, you'll stop annoying us. But until you drop the victim card, her holding that piece is just another waste. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happier you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?